Number 12 on the CPGM top 50, we have Jachai Polite.
Gator. First thing that stood out to me with Jachai Polite is his movement ability, his feet. You know, I compared it to like a basketball point guard where offensive lineman, it's hard to stay in front of him. You know, he reminds me of Von Miller as a pass rusher because of how fluid he moves to the quarterback.
I got here pretty damn good lateral movement and that closing speed once he gets up and around that corner, or if he decides to go inside with an inside move to close on the running back or the quarterback.
Yeah, you know, it kind of surprised me with his combine performance because you talked about his closing speed, and on tape I saw that he has a relentless motor. He's always hunting the quarterback. So, you know, when he ran a 4.8 40 and he showed up a little overweight to the combine, it kind of confused me, but I know that he has had issues at Florida also with his character.
Yeah, those are the things that you never know about a player. You know, it's not like we're sitting in a room and we're interviewing him or watching him, you know, 24/7. You know, it's up to these players to, you know, they say, quote unquote, it's the biggest interview of your life, and you got to be prepped and ready to go when you walk into that room, whether they're asking you questions or whether, you know, are you in shape? You know, these you're doing what, 6-7 drills that you got to be prepped for and ready to go, and he wasn't ready to go. At CPGM here, we go by the tape, right? And the tape tells us that this guy's going to be a hell of a pass rusher. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is he a better stand-up 3-4 outside linebacker, or is he a 4-3 edge guy?
I got him as a 3-4 stand-up outside linebacker. Similar, like I said, to Von Miller, how he moves, his quickness off the snap. In the run game, that's where I have an issue with him, his length and his strength in the run game. So to have him as a 4-3 end, you know, to set the edge, I don't see him doing that. But definitely a situational pass rusher to start out with, but I see more in his game. I think his ceiling is really high if he could just get some things together.
I know me and you had a discussion, and the one thing that I noticed, you know, we both noticed, was his hands, them quick hands. It's not just his feet, it's his hands, it's his whole body's in sync with what he's trying to do to work on that offensive tackle, whether it be go inside or go outside. He has a bevy of moves, although I like to see him use a spin move a little bit more, swim move a little bit more, but in terms of his hands getting the offensive lineman off of him, it's like he relishes the fact of pass rush, but when it comes to the run game, he can be bullied, if you will.
Yeah, he's more of a finesse guy, but pass rushers in this league, man, teams covet that position. So even with him being finesse and even with his combine being terrible, I still think a team should take a shot on him in the first round.
Florida Gator, Dante Fowler, or Polite?
Oh, Fowler was a dog.
Okay.
That's a different kind of. That's a different kind of guy.
Okay, I'm just throwing it out there. Gator versus Gator. Just throwing it out there.
Let me ask you a different compliment, a different perspective. You know, we've noticed guys with off the field concerns. I'll give you two guys: Frank Clark, Randy Gregory. Both had off the field concerns. Frank Clark's about to get paid. Randy Gregory might be out of the league soon. So, Polite, what do you think he falls more, the Frank Clark or the Randy Gregory?
That's tough, man. I would say Gregory is too far left. I think he's a little too finesse, and I think he's not playing right now for reasons. As for Frank Clark, he's cleaned himself up, and he's got dog. He's got more dog than Polite does. So he falls somewhere in the middle of those two guys.
And it's hard to ever tell, you know, what a guy has in his heart and if he could clean up and do that. So the answer is kind of unknown, but I'm with you, like probably somewhere in the middle.
I know there was a story that I saw on Twitter where he was talking about how, you know, he wanted to, I think it was a hair salon for his mom, or I want to say it was a hair salon. He wanted to, you know, make that money so he could, you know, have her start her own business. So, you know, that's kind of motivation that's behind him. But when you show up at the combine like you did, it's kind of like, what are we really saying? Is this just a story, or is this actual facts, things that you want to happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I heard in the combine and the interviews, there was a couple teams, I think the Packers are one, they kind of critiqued him. They you know, they want to see how you react. So they were like, oh, you didn't do this on this play. So they kind of critiqued him, and, you know, his answer was, well, I never watched myself play after the game. So it kind of rubs some teams the wrong way that he's not putting in work in the film room.
Right? You're not willing to self-evaluate yourself, go back and, you know, so I mean, that does say a lot about you, because I mean, you know, half the battle in the league is to go and watch, you know, tape, whether it be of the opponent or of yourself. You know, it's how you get better. So our 12th prospect on the CPGM top 50.